Hey everybody, so this is the first, and I don't know how many people's going to tune in. I don't see anybody in right now, but this is my first live, and I'm using the webcam, so yeah, I'm a fat ass. Whatever. Um, but yeah, as some of you may have noticed, I did get a job, or what I hope to be a job, and I'm not officially hired yet. I go for orientation on Wednesday, which will be today's 15th. Be the 18th up at a company in Birmingham where I will be hopefully go through the orientation and have a job. And I hope everybody can hear me because I'm trying not to shout. So let me see if I can't get a little closer. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So, yeah, been sitting around kind of putting in applications, then finding out what Billy Barnes had put on my DAC report. That kind of bothered me. So hopefully things will be better. I'm going to try to dispute it, get it removed, and, go from there. We'll find out how that works out. But, I was hoping I'd get at least a couple of people on the live, but maybe I'm just not popular enough to do a live. And that's fine too. I'm just testing this out to see how it works. I'm not going to really get all butthurt over it, so to speak. So I'm just sitting here and drinking out my little cup. All I got in is water. Kind of doing that and just seeing what all this is about. Looking at the computer screen. I'm not. Just really trying to think about a lot of things, not sure what to do. I don't want to be on the road during the week, but I'm going to have to be on the road Monday through Friday anyway, and then be home on weekends. And then weekends will be all about, trying to edit videos, trying to take care of yard work, housework, spend time with Miss Carla. Because she and I, ain't going to see each other. She doesn't like the fact I'm going on the road. I don't like the fact I'm going on the road, but I have to do it. It just has to be done. It really does. Because you got to pay bills. Bills have to be paid. So that's how it goes. I mean, her check helps out. She did apply for food stamps. Initially we wasn't going to do the food stamps because I thought I was going to have a job within a week. And then a week ran into two ran into three, and now here are a month later, and I'm finally have the hopes of having a job. So she went on ahead and applied for food stamps, so we was able to get groceries. The door dashing has helped some. It's not like raking in money, but we'll be able to make the basic bill payments, and try to stay afloat that way. But everything else is just we're getting behind on. But it is what it is. Life pulls the rug out from under you sometimes, and the only thing you can do is stand back up and keep going. Even though sometimes it doesn't feel like you want to. Because trust me, sometimes I have felt so down, so disrespected, but also so depressed that I almost didn't want to keep going at all. I just wanted to ball up into a corner somewhere and just give up. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. What do I know? I'm sitting here in front of a computer on a camera, just rambling to nobody that's listening, eating a Reese's cup. you know. But yeah, I'll be on the road during the week. You know, I had to got to figure out a way to get a GPS. Those aren't cheap. $300. Lovely. Sorry, I'm talking about my phone. But yeah, I haven't been on the road in a year, so that's going to be new. I'm sure it won't take long to acclimate to sleeping in a truck and, you know, doing all that. I see I got one viewer. Are you still there? But yeah, so the new job will be Southeast Regional. The website states, you know, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and parts of Texas. Which that's fine. I like staying in the South. Keeps me as much out of the snow as possible. Obviously, um, it does snow in Kentucky, so and it snows in Tennessee as well. Even snows some in northern Alabama, even though it's not quite a lot. Yeah. So I'm trying to think of stuff to talk about because I don't want to be like all whiny and boo-hooey and all that. But it's been rough. It's been rough for a couple of years now. But you know, 2019 motorcycle wreck, shattered my arm, and that was right after I met Carla, and she put up with me then because I don't know how well it shows up on the camera, but you got a scar that runs there all the way back around here. And then if you can see it, there's one that runs there to there where they had to go in and put plates and screws in because it basically broke my forearm in four places. I had a fracture here, and then the inner bone was fractured here, and then it fractured my elbow off. Um, I was actually out of work for 12 weeks with that, and the company I was with almost didn't want to save me a place. They really wanted to let me go, I think, because I hadn't been there a year, so I didn't have the guarantee of being out of work or whatever that legal crap is. But they did, and I came back to work. The only thing is, when I came back to work, I was local at the time doing that as well. Um, the position I had, the route I had, they gave to another driver because um, he wanted it. So when I came back to work, I went from where I was making about $1,000 a week on the route I was on to making like 600 a week. So I'm like, okay, I got to do something else. Well, they had an account out of Dothan, Southeast Regional, went and did that until that didn't work out. And then, I was on the road and she was home every week, like she's going to be now, which sucks because I don't like that. I see. Although everybody's y'all welcome to say something. Let me know you're there. And I'm sorry if I'm boring, but I don't know what else to say. No one wants to say anything. I'm trying to, yeah, I'm not a popular person. I know that. Hell, this is just me trying something. So Yeah, the job's going to be these nuts. Okay. Well, I don't have these nuts. I have one nut. So, testicular cancer last year. You know, that's not anything you want to get told either, is that you got cancer of any kind. You especially don't want to have to go to the doctor and get told, hey, yeah, we're going to have you in surgery tomorrow and we're going to remove one of your testicles. So, but thankfully it got the cancer, you know, as of last time I went to the doctor, I was still cancer free, which I'm thankful for that every day. Because it's scary. I mean, it's a scary thought. You go from everything's okay to you find something odd, you go to the doctor and they're like, yeah, we definitely think it's cancer and we're definitely going to have to do surgery, maybe even chemo and radiation, which thankfully I didn't have to do chemo or radiation. But, it's like, damn, I don't, because in my mind, I'm like, has it spread or whatever? I go to worst case scenario. So I'm thinking, has it spread? Am I going to be dead before I'm 45 years old? And it's like, it wakes you up. And I didn't, which is one of the reasons I didn't ever want to go back on the road, because I don't want to waste time. I run up and down the interstates and not being home with my family. But now, because of the situation that I'm in now, I have no choice. I have to go back out on the road and just do what I've got to do. Probably going to do it for a couple of years to get everything back on my feet, and maybe I'll find something local after that. You know, I just don't want to be on the road forever. I don't want to be on the road the rest of my life. And so, yeah. So I got three people. Does anybody got any questions? I mean, I'll answer questions. I have no problem answering questions. Assuming y'all can hear me. For all I know, my mouth may just be. Um, One person chimed in, one person left. Okay. Um, is the video working right? I mean, it's not lagging on my end, but then again, I don't know how that works. Yeah, one nut is better than no nuts. I definitely agree with you there. Um, it's just, I'm thankful every day that, you know, the cancer's gone. I'm thankful every day they got it all. I'm thankful that it was only like stage one and it hadn't spread. Um, but nothing prepares you. And, you hear people all the time, oh man, I'd give my left nut for this or my left nut for that. And my response always now is, no, you wouldn't. You don't want to give your left nut for anything. You know, you think you would give something like that until you have to. And then it's not what you want to do at all anymore. Um, you know, it's just been rough. Carla's had back surgeries. Her life has been rougher than mine, and maybe one day she'll get on here and she'll talk about what all she's been through, but it's not my place to tell you what all she's been through. I just know she has been by my side through thick, thin, hell, high water, whatever you want to say. She's been there always. And, you don't find many women, in my opinion, this day and time that will stand by you no matter what. Because she's seen me at my worst and she's seen me at my best. Um, she doesn't like being with someone that has to be on all the time. She loves me, but what I mean is, it's hard. It's hard to be with someone who's constantly on the go, on the run. I don't know. Everybody expects something to be more. entertaining, and I'm still new to all this shit. Hell, you want me to jump up and down and rub my stomach and pat my head and say rubber baby belly bumper? I don't think I can do it. But hopefully the new job will work out. I really think it will. I really do. Um, there's no matter of getting a GPS because I can read a map. Maps are great. It's always helpful to know how to read a map when you drive a truck. But GPSs now in this day and time really do benefit because, when it comes, you can read a map and know which interstate to go from Alabama to Texas or whatever state you're going to. But it's when you get to the city you're going to that GPS and the mapping really do help because you can follow the directions to get to your address. Otherwise, back in the day, you used to have to pull over and be like, "Hey, can you tell me how to get to here? What's a good truck route?" Or you call the receiver and be like, "Yes, this is a driver with ABC Transportation. Do you? I'm coming in off Interstate, blah blah blah. What exit do I need to take? What directions do I need to get to your location? It's truck friendly." And most of the time, there was someone that would be, they had a good receptionist, would be like, "Okay, you want to take blah, blah, blah. And then you get off on blah, blah, blah. And then that'll bring you in this way. Make sure you come in from this direction because if you come in from this direction, you'll have to turn around and, it'll just complicate things." So that's the great thing about that is that, GPSs do help out with that. And there's stuff I have that's made life a little easier on the truck. I've got a little 12-volt freezer, refrigerator, whatever you want to call it. It lays down flat. I bought it off Amazon. It's made by a company called Apicool. Bought it a couple of years ago before prices got sky high. It was like $200. I still have it. I've kept it just in case, and it will freeze stuff. So for someone like myself who loves ice cream, it's nice to have something like that where I can put ice cream in a truck. Yeah. And, but I've got to start getting everything ready. Probably going to start doing that tomorrow. Getting bedding and comforter and or sleeping bag. Packing about a week's worth of clothes. Just trying to really get everything on the ball to go up there next week. And then I'll be up there probably, I'm thinking 2 days. I'll probably get in a truck Friday. And more than likely, I won't get to be home next weekend. I'll probably have to work through the weekend and into the following weekend and be home next weekend. Just to get a little money, they'll pay me for my orientation. I forget how much they said orientation pay is. It'll be a few $100s, I'm sure. And they'll put that on my first check. It's going to take a minute to get on my feet. I ain't going to lie. It's going to take a rock solid minute. Me here and trying to do all this and trying to stay upbeat about all this because, at the end of the day, I did find someone that was willing to accept my application and approve me to come to orientation. So I got one viewer. Don't I feel special? But whoever's still watching, I appreciate it. I mean, I know I'm not an exciting person. I don't know that I ever will be all that exciting. I'm still trying to find my place in all this. I really am. Trying to figure out what really people want to see. When I had my bike, it was pretty easy. I just did what I loved. If I bought a new seat, I put seat on there, did a review of it, and that's probably been viewed more times than I ever thought any of my videos would be reviewed. Motorcycle related stuff, always did great. And unfortunately, I don't have a bike no more. I had to sell that so we could get the down payment and all to buy this house, which I'm thankful we have this house because it's my first house. It's the first house I've ever bought, and I'm almost 40 years old. And even as late in life as I am, having bought this house, I'm proud of it and I want to keep it. It's not a huge house, but it's my house. So maybe another day, maybe in the future, I will get another bike and do motorcycle related content. I would love to. I thought maybe I might do car related content, but I was always busting my ass 14, 15 hour days during the week. So when I came home, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't have the drive to get on here and try to make a video. I didn't have the drive to want to do anything at all. But being on the road, take my little GoPro and, figure out a way to mount it. And so, I can make videos, kind of show y'all what I go through from day to day as a driver, for week to week as a driver, maybe give tips and opinions on what I think about the industry. And for those of you who came to my channel because of motorcycles, I apologize that I can't do a lot of motorcycle related content right now. The car stuff, I'm probably going to end up being a channel that's not about just one thing. That's just the way it's going to be right now. Trying to figure out what to do with the channel. I've thought about renaming it, even though the name holds a special place in my heart because it was a name that was given to me by the guys in the club I used to ride with because I rode Indian. So they called me Indian Joe. And I've always had a love for Indian motorcycles. So it's not, I don't want anyone to think it's some kind of play on Native American stuff or anything like that, because it's not. It's just because I used to ride an Indian. But since I don't do motorcycle related content, especially Indian related content now, I'm wondering if I should change the channel or what I should change it to. I guess I could call myself Joe the One Nut Wonder. That's a reference to my cancer, by the way, for those of you who aren't still there, who have left or whatever. I told y'all I would do a live stream and kind of just talk, and I feel like I'm just being boring. But I guess I could, just talk about this, that, and the other and kind of go over what I do. But I don't really have anything to show. It's built-in webcam, so I can't really show you the office. I can show you things I've done, and a lot of you that have, seen my videos on stuff I've done, y'all know I do cups, and I still have some that I've done playing around. Something I like to do, as I've said before in other videos, it's just something I really like to do. And it's a hobby that I hope to turn into money. I've got a friend that's got a race car, and he's going to have his valve covers powder coated and have me put, I think my box is falling apart. But he wants me to do this on his valve covers. And I didn't center it on purpose because I want to play with all this. Because I want to try different fonts, different sizing, all that. But he wants that on his valve covers. And this is aluminum. I hadn't worked with aluminum. I thought maybe I might be able to etch bare aluminum, but I can't. Too shiny, too reflective. So I can't do aluminum. I can like powder coated or painted black aluminum. Absolutely. I can do that all day, every day. So I'm still learning on the laser engraving stuff. I love to do wood, and I've got this sitting here, and I hadn't thought what to put on it. It's a picture frame. Bought it, was going to do a custom picture frame, and I just never could find the right thing to put on it. You know, I know a lot of you have tuned in because you saw my situation I was in. I was distraught, distressed. You know, I didn't know what to do because I hadn't been unemployed in like 7 years. I've had a job steadily. I've had a job in trucking for at least 7 years steady, no real breaks in unemployment except for, you know, when you swap a job, you know, there's usually about a week there, but that's because you've already got a job lined up, so you're going to another job. So when you lose your job unexpectedly and suddenly no one will hire you and you don't know why, it's quite stressful. It's quite nerve-wracking because you don't know. My MVR, which I've got a copy of it somewhere, my MVR is clean except for one accident. That's it. And it wasn't even my fault. Someone rear-ended me on my pickup truck. So I knew my MVR wasn't going to be the issue. So I'm like, what's the issue? What's the big deal? And, you know, then I realized that it was Billy Barnes Enterprises that was putting stuff on my record, or quite possibly the way they were responding to employment checks or employment verification is what I mean. So I finally found out what was on my DAC, and they were putting something as vague as, and it's vague. That's all it is. It's vague. I'm sorry. I'm distracted by watching myself in the camera versus looking at the camera. It's hard to do. But something as vague as, how did they word it? Excessive complaints. I don't know what that means, but talking to the safety director of the company I'm about to go to, she said companies can do that and be that vague on a lot of different things. It could be, okay, there was a lot of complaints from fellow drivers. There were complaints from, you know, customers, or there were complaints from motorists. Usually it doesn't mean there were safety complaints. It just means there were complaints. Okay, well, no one ever brought any complaints to my attention if there was any complaints. The only one who might have been complaining excessively was me because of the way they were doing, because I was busting my ass and, you know, I didn't feel I was being taken care of as a driver like I should have been. So, you know, but they're like, yeah, this doesn't feel right. They decided we're going to give you a chance. So they're going to give me a chance. And I am thankful for that 100%. All day, every day. I'm trying to see if there's anything I can do or talk about that would be of more interest to y'all. My laser glasses. Welcome to the 32nd century. Yeah. Why green, I don't know. Most safety glasses for lasers are like yellow or orange, but these came with it and they are green. But, you know, I mean, I thought that when I went live, some of y'all might want to, ask questions or talk or chit chat, kind of be a part of the situation here. Because I'm not a comedian. I'm not, I do stupid shit that's funny, and I say stupid shit that's funny sometimes, but I am not a comedian by any stretch of the imagination. Um, I have funny moments where something pops in my head and it's funny, but uh, I'm not that good at intentionally making people laugh. I can make people laugh, but it's usually by accident. Um, but I miss my bike. I miss my Indian, and one day I do hope to get another Indian. I really do like the Indian motorcycles. They were, or it was a really good bike, but right now, the bills, house, getting caught up on everything, those things have to come before getting another bike. And I'm going to try to keep doing content. I almost said comment. I can comment all I want and don't matter. But I'm going to try to do more content. I just don't know where that's going to lead. There's a lot of trucking channels out there now, so I don't want to just be, but there's a lot of motorcycle riding channels too. So who knows? I might be the guy that just goes on and vents and rants, and then y'all watch me and say, he's a fucking nut job. And then y'all watch me because y'all think I'm a fucking nut job. And maybe I am a nut job. Who the hell knows? But the video that brought a lot of you to me, that was me upset about my job situation. I never would have thought that video would have got over 5,000 views. And for all I know, it may have gotten more views than that by now. I never thought it, never would have thunk it. Because at the time I had like 50 subscribers, and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe one or two people might watch this, but it wasn't about people watching it. It was, I needed a way to vent. I needed a way to get off my chest what was going on. And, I wanted to at least think someone might listen, because it's hard. It's hard when you're someone who's always trapped in your own mind and you don't know how to express yourself to other people. You don't have a lot of friends. So you vent the best way you know how. I don't like to vent to Carla because I don't want to stress her out with everything. So I made the video and just kind of just let it out, kind of went through the motions. And I didn't expect what happened to happen. I did not at all expect that to happen. I didn't expect people to actually help me, and they did. And I hope that I get to the point again where I can help people, because honestly, I much rather be the person that helps people than the person that needs help. And it's crazy to say that, because there are people in this world that want everyone to help them, and they never give back. And I've done stuff for people in my life. I've just be helping people. Didn't care if they were taking advantage of me or not, because in my mind I was doing the right thing. People like, what'd you give that homeless man $20 for? Don't you know he's just gonna go buy whatever beer, alcohol with it? You don't know that. Most of the time, yeah, that happens. Sometimes it's people that just scamming people, but every time I've helped someone, it usually wasn't because they asked. It was because I could see the situation they were in, because I talked to them, stood there and talked to them, found out their story. And, I didn't have a lot, but I had an extra 20. Here, man, go inside and get you something to eat. And you know what? He took the money, and that's what he did. it's I'm not liberal at all. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you all this, and then that may cut my viewer in half right now, which I ain't got but 2 viewers, and that's fine. But I'm more conservative than I am anything. I believe that people should try to help themselves. I do believe people should take responsibility for their own actions. But I also think the world would be better if we all tried to help one another instead of fight one another. You know, I think this world would be a much better place if we all just tried to help one another and have compassion for one another and tried to understand one another. People don't do that no more. People don't try to, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't try to understand what the other person's coming from. They don't try to understand the situation or the mindset that person is in. Because at the end of the day, most people it's me and mine first before everyone else. And I don't always agree with that. So I don't know what to say about that no more. In the words of Forrest Gump. That's all I got to say about that. So, the job is, I will tell y'all this about the job. In trucking, you can get paid any number of ways. You can get paid per mile. You can get paid a combination of mileage and tonnage, depending on what, like when I was hauling chips, you got paid per ton. Some companies pay per mileage. Some companies even pay a salary. Some of them are starting to do that. Some of them are starting to pay salaries. Or you can get paid percentage of the load. The company I'm going with does pay percentage of gross, 25% actually. So say, for example, if a load pays them $1,000, I get 25% of that. So I would get $250 for the load. If a load, now this is just idiocy, but say, for example, they got this big whopping load that paid $10,000. Supposedly I would get 25% of that. Now, is that going to happen? Probably not. That doesn't really happen. There are loads that pay really well, and usually heavy equipment haulers make the best money because they're trained, they've been doing it a long time, and they drag the equipment here, there, everywhere. But this company's going to pay me 25% of the gross. And hopefully that works out because I've been paid percentage before and I always did pretty good. Now, yeah, does that mean you take a hit when you're empty? Absolutely. It means you take a little bit of a hit when you're empty, but the goal is not to stay empty too long. You'll spend part of your time, setting. But all companies pay detention pay. And detention pay, for those of you who've never watched a trucking video that don't know, detention pay is when you get held up at a shipper and say you get to the shipper, your appointment's at 5:00. You get there at 4:45. You're on time. Now, every company is different. Most companies require you to set 2 hours for free before you get detention pay. So some companies it's 1 hour. So it just depends. But say you get to a receiver and you set 3 hours. Okay, you're going to get paid for 1 hour. And usually it's anywhere from as little as $10 an hour, sometimes $25 for that hour. Now, you still make more money when you're running, but they do pay you something for setting and waiting. So, which do I prefer to get paid? At the end of the day, I think I prefer to get paid percentage. Because if for some reason the company, they got a customer and say that customer is paying X rate, and okay, it's 6 months later, so that customer they have to pay more because the company negotiates more, then that means my 25% is going to be a little more too. It's still 25%, but it's more. In other words, I'm not locked in at 55 or 52 or whatever the cents per mile is, because right now most companies aren't paying a lot more than 55 for a dry van, and that's what I do. I like to do dry van. I don't like to do refrigerated, and I can't do flatbed because of my back and because of my arm. My arm still has its limitations. It still gets sore. It still gets irritated. Because I still have the plates and all in my arm. So I wonder if I sit here long enough in this stereo, y'all think the screen's froze. Be like, but I'll do videos as things go on. Probably when I get set up in my truck, I'll do a video and show y'all how, or try to do a video, show you how I set my truck up and how I have it set up, and go over some stuff. A lot of drivers doing a lot of similar things, and it's not like I plan on being some super big YouTube person. And once things start getting better, I do plan on doing content related to a Mustang. I plan on hopefully getting another bike, and I'll do more bike related content. But for those of you that still do chime in, y'all still have seen the motorcycle content and the seats and all, because that seat review I did of that Saddlemen road sofa, honest opinion, I loved that seat. I loved that bike. I hate that I don't have it no more. My the gloves I did a review on, I never got the name of them, but I gave those to a friend when I sold my bike. He needed a pair of gloves, and I didn't need them no more. They were a $120 pair of gloves, so I gave them to him. I mean, hey, hell, man, you can use these. Here, use them. They were good gloves, and Odin gloves. That's what they were. Real good gloves. Trying to think, what would y'all like to hear me talk about? And I'm sure y'all don't want to hear me talk about my cancer a lot, and that's kind of depressing. No one wants to be talked to about cancer. Just, I'm just thankful I found a job. I'll put my time in there, and maybe a year, maybe 6 months to a year down the road, scratching my nose, not picking it. Maybe 6 months to a year down the road, I can qualify for something local again. Cause home is where I really want to be. I need to be home. I don't like being on the road all the time. It makes it complicated. When you're on the road, you have to deal with, everything that's part of it. I'm trying to think. YouTube's gonna try to think I'm being sexual because y'all can see my nipples in my shirt. But wanted to show you all this because if you have anybody that's a firefighter, this is a really cool design. It's called the Fireman's Prayer. You know, I really do like it. You know, what I am called to do to God, whenever flames. I'm not going to try to read all that. It's difficult the way the light reflects off of it, but it's legible. It's readable. It is a really nice design, really nice piece, I feel. And I can make more. I can make them in black, or I can make them in red, or if you've got a firefighter in your friends circle or family or whatever, you know, hit me up. I can make one. I can put this on a cup. I can put it on picture frames. I can probably, I don't know about making it readable now. If you want it on the keychain, I probably can't do it on the keychain. I'm just going to be honest there. But I can put it on all kinds of stuff. I can put it on a decorative hall mirror, because I can do mirrors as well. There's a process to doing mirrors, just like there's a process to doing bare metal. But you know, it's something I like to do. So I feel like at this point I've run out of conversation. I've been talking for 47 minutes now, and I've only got 2 comments. One person said "these nuts," and then my response to that was, "Well, I don't have these nuts. I have a nut because I had to have my left testicle removed due to testicular cancer last year." And that person responded, "One nut is better than none." So that's the only 2 comments I've got, and I'm not offended. I'm not easily offended. You know, life's too short to be offended. Life is really too short to go through it being offended. People pop in, pop out, you know, and that's fine. I didn't expect to get a big audience. I just kind of wanted to do this to see what it was like. Although some interaction would be nice, it would give me something to talk about if someone wanted to ask a stupid question, or not stupid question, but if someone wanted to ask a question, whether it be silly, whether it be just whatever, if people wanted to ask me what my thoughts on the cost of eggs are, and I'd still say it ain't worth wear and tear on the hen's ass. Although right now with the price of eggs, I imagine the hens would be doing pretty well if they got paid for their work. You know, I'm just saying, if you know, y'all want to interact with me, I'm watching my comments right here. You know, it would just, I do this for my benefit more than I do anyone else's, not money wise, but because I don't know, even when I'm talking to nobody, if I'm not talking about anything, it just feels feels therapeutic, I think is the word I'm looking for. You know, trying to think. And I don't know what year the motorcycle is. It's a painting that was got for me at Hobby Lobby. I know it's an old Indian Scout. I want to say, well, probably 1930s, 40s, somewhere in there. Indian Scout, you know. God, I wish I had one of those in my garage. I wish I had a garage, and I wish I had one of those. Yeah, that would be it. But, you know, don't always feel blessed. I know that in a lot of ways I have been blessed because I know there are people that are out there that's worse than me. And oh Lord, now I'm being spammed in the comments. I'm being spammed in the comments. I don't know. It's got to be a website doing this stupid shit. Talking about AI girlfriend. Oh my God, this shit that comes up sometimes. And see that's entertaining to me. I would never use any such website, AI girlfriend bullshit, but it's humorous. I guess I come off as being that type of guy, but I'm really not. Uh, you know, what's on that purple cup? Hold on. Oh, you see how fat I am? Oh no, he's a fat ass. Look away. You know, yeah, this didn't turn out all that great. This was my first attempt, and I never cleaned it up because the cup fell off the rotary. When the cup falls off the rotary, it screws the image up. But yeah, that's kind of something I was doing, and I never cleaned it up. It was a design I was working on, and actually we did get a couple of them. It was for the my high school reunion. Made them in purple, and you can't see that. You can't see this one right here because I had to end up going back and making the line work a little thicker, a little bolder. But yeah, and only like 5 people of those, did anything. But people did buy them. I mean, I don't have a problem with stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just trying to get by. If Carla's feeling not that great tonight, she woke up with a sour stomach. Hi from Kentucky. Yep. Nice to meet you. Thomas's Adventures. Yep. Hi back from Alabama. Yeah, I'm not in the northern part of Alabama. I'm down here, the southern part. Although Alabama and Kentucky is probably one of the 2 states that you can work 2 full-time jobs and still be broke as shit. Just because there's people that will work for the low-wage jobs instead of holding out for better pay. That's my opinion. But Kentucky is a beautiful state. I've been through eastern Kentucky several times, and it is absolutely a gorgeous state. I love to see it in the fall when the leaves start to change. Like I said, especially the eastern side. I don't know if you're from the eastern or the western side, but the eastern side is just absolutely, pardon my language, fucking gorgeous. I was up in, me and Carla took a trip to Kentucky last year to, I can't even think the name of it right now. I mean, my mind's not the best in the world anymore. The Waverly Hills Asylum. We took a trip up there to see that. And she likes haunted stuff, so I bought the tickets and all, and we traveled up there Louisville. That's it. I was trying to think of it, which is weird because we have a place in Alabama that's spelled the exact same way, but we don't pronounce it Louisville. We pronounce it Louisville. It's amazing how the pronunciation changes from one state to another. But yeah, Waverly Hills, it was fun. She went more for the ghost aspect. I went more for the historical aspect because I love history and stuff that pertains to that, and it was just awesome. And I think the owners are trying to semi restore it. In other words, I think they want to try to get it back to what it was originally would have been. Um, I don't know if they'll do that. I hope to God they do. I would love to see that building semi restored. But yeah, Louisville, Kentucky. Um, God, that was a good trip. And then and then on the way back, we stopped by Horse Cave. I think that was in Kentucky. I don't think it was in Tennessee, but a place called Horse Cave, and we went down to that cave and that cavern, and that was gorgeous as well too. Um, but yeah, Kentucky is definitely one of my favorite places to see, like in the fall, and you know, but Mammoth Cave. Yes, I think that might have been it. Mammoth Cave, Horse Cave. Um, but you know, because we've got a couple of caverns down here, and if I have the opportunity to stop and look at a cavern, I really will because I think it's neat. Of course, coming out of that cave, we went to the staircase was so steep, I about gave out of breath. I think me and Carla was both about to have asthma attacks coming out of there. Because let's face it, I'm not in the most fittest of shape. Um, I likes my food a little bit too much. Um, yeah. So yeah, I think Kentucky would definitely be one of my favorite states to travel through and see. What would my second favorite be though? I really don't know. Um, Most people are like, "Oh, the state I live in is my favorite state." And Alabama's nice. Alabama does have some beautiful roads as far as winding roads when you get up in northern Alabama, but you know the scenery really doesn't change that much, and especially southern Alabama. But Tennessee, Kentucky, those are two gorgeous states. But like I said, you can work two jobs and be broke as shit because you have people that will work for $7.50 an hour because they're so desperate to work. They'll work for that, and so no one ever wants to pay any more than that because people will work for that. Like perfect example would be here in Alabama, over in a place called not Eufaula. Damn it, my brain is like really all kind of whack right now. Laverne, Alabama. They built a Hyundai supplier built a plant called SMART, Stamped Metal American Research Technologies. They call it SMART. And when they first built the place, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna pay." And this was back in the 2000s, like 2002, 2003. They announced they were going to pay everybody $13, $14 an hour, which was unheard of at the time starting out. And a lot of the local businesses like, "You can't do that. You'll steal all our workers." Well, what do y'all pay? And then they found out that everybody was paying like $7.50, $8 an hour, and people were like, "People around here would work for that?" And they were like, "Yeah." And then next thing you know, Smart isn't even hiring their own employees. They're going through temp agencies, and temp agencies were paying like $8 an hour even though the Smart was paying them like $10, $12 an hour, but the temp services were paying $8 an hour, and then you'd end up, instead of getting hired on full time in 3 months, you'd end up just staying a full time temp for a year and never getting the benefits. Working 6, 7 days a week, 12-hour shifts. I know because I did that. I mean, there was literally one time I worked 21, not 21, but 20 days in a row without a day off. I got a Sunday off and then worked another almost 3 weeks completely straight with no time off. So yeah, when I say Alabama and Kentucky is definitely the two states that you can work 2 full-time jobs and still be broke. Yeah, that's it. That's God's honest truth of it. But Kentucky is a beautiful state, and I don't blame the governments of either one of these states. I just think it's here just to tap into politics a little bit. My problem is you have the Democrats, progressives, whatever you want to call them, they try to push things so far, so fast that it doesn't work. Whereas you have the Republicans, they're scared to change anything because they don't want to become the progressives. But there has to be some kind of middle ground, and there's no one doing that anymore. There's nothing wrong with a little change. There's nothing wrong with trying to give people a livable wage, so to speak, without going overboard. I think there should be some kind of way to regulate wages to where, when a employer is forced to give a raise, they can't just up the price of everything just to keep their margins the same. And I'm not a smart man when it comes to that shit, so I don't even know how that would work or what it would look like. There just needs to be a way to do it to where giving someone a wage increase doesn't cause massive inflation. But not unemployment, but minimum wage hasn't went up in years. The last minimum wage increase I remember in Alabama went from, I think, seven an hour to like $7.50 or $7.25 or whatever it is now. But don't get me wrong, everyone's paying more than that now because they have to. You have McDonald's in certain areas paying people like $13, $14, $15 an hour to go and make burgers. Now, the only thing is, most of the time, that's not full-time work. They don't get full-time work. They get part-time work. But, I don't really want to dig that deep into politics because I don't have that great of an understanding of it. I just have my own personal views and opinions. So Thomas, if you're still with me, what kind of adventures do you go on? Because, Let's sit here and got stiff. Oh, look at what I found. 4-inch square coasters, a 4-pack. Never even touched, never even put anything on them. Oh, I've never been on a Natchez Trail, but I bet you it's beautiful. And I wish like hell that I could have kept my bike. Of course, after Carla's back surgery, she's not able to ride that much anymore. Yeah, it's such a tiny thumbnail. I'll look at it later. Um, but Carla had she had 2 back surgeries last year. Um, well, they wasn't both last year. One was at the very tail end of 2021. She had to go in and have a cyst removed. Um, and then 6 months later, the cyst came back. It wasn't cancerous or anything, but it was just related to the movement causing fluid to build up, and it was actually semi-paralyzing her, the fluid pressing against her spinal cord. So they're like, well, the only thing we can do is we can go in and we can fix that joint, basically fix it in place, a spinal fusion. So they did a spinal fusion on her back, and she can get around now and do things, but she can't stand to sit on the back of a bike for long periods. So really, when she became unable to ride, it really took a lot of the joy out of riding, because it was something that we loved to do together. I mean, I would still like to have another bike to do like local riding and stuff like that. It sucks like hell, because I know she used to enjoy riding too, and she can probably still do short trips, but she can't do all day trips like we used to do, where I'd put her on the back of the bike and we'd take a 4-hour ride, and then come back, she'd be fine. Now, if she's on the back of a bike for 4 hours, she can't move the next day. So, yeah, I mean, that's that's the thing. And I still like to ride, but I feel like I'm leaving her out when I have a bike. I feel like if she can't ride, I feel like I'm leaving her out, even though sometimes she's fine with it. I just always feel like I'm leaving her out. And I guess that's my guilt that she can't ride. And maybe it doesn't bother her as much as I think it does, but I know that I feel bad that when she can't go. Oh, there it is. A new AI dating for all. I wish I knew how to stop that, because I'm sure y'all don't like seeing that shit either. But it's funny. I guess I come across as a lonely, desperate type that needs dating for all, for artificial girlfriends and shit. But which the weird thing is, I have a bad back too, and I can ride all day. Yes, it's definitely more enjoyable with her. I have a bad back. I can ride all day. I can sit. Um, I can sit in a seat and drive a truck all day. I can be in a motorcycle, be on the back of a motorcycle all day. My back almost doesn't bother me at all. It's standing that bothers my back. My L5S1 disc is almost completely deteriorated. I probably do need spinal fusion myself. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to be put under the knife. I don't want to have a 3-month recovery. And even then, if I don't heal back right, then I won't even be able to drive, because who knows, it may make it to where I can't stand sitting. Right now, sitting is fine for me. I can sit, I can drive, I can ride. What if I have a surgery and then suddenly I can't sit? Um, no, I'm going to put off spinal fusion for myself as long as I can. Carla had to have it done, because if she hadn't have had it done, then the cyst was just going to keep coming back every 6 months. And doctors said, we can't do that. We can't be cutting you open every 6 months. They said if it was like every couple of years, then it might have been feasible to do that. But they went in, they removed the cyst, and literally 6 months later, it was back. And then she's been through a lot. She's actually had she fell. This was before me, before she met me. She had a bunch of stairs or a set of stairs fall out from under her, and she actually fractured her back and all that. So she's already not got the best back in the world. And then obviously she's had children. So that's taken a lot out of her bone density and all that. But she's a real trooper. She puts up with it. And probably one thing that her character says more than anything, she puts up with me. And trust me, putting up with me is a good deal sometimes. Um, yes. Us drivers, we do tend to do that. Because we're used to putting 400 or 500 miles into a day, we forget that not everybody can do that. We forget that not everybody can sit in a car for an extended 10, 11 hours when it's your personal vehicle and just put the miles in. Um, I'm guilty of that myself. My seat didn't cost $1,000. It almost did. The Saddleman Road sofa that I ordered with custom stitching and all that I had on my Indian Chieftain. It was shit. It was actually I think it was right at 1,000. It was like 850 with the backrest. They gave me a discount. And I loved that seat. It was a damn good seat. But yes, us truck drivers, we do tend to not think so much about our passengers because we're so used to driving so much. Because when I'm in a truck and I'm driving, I stop to fuel and I stop to piss and use the bathroom. I don't really stop for anything else until I get to where I'm going. And I get to where I'm going, I get loaded, I get unloaded, and then I go find a parking spot when my time runs down, and I get up and do it all again the next fucking day. Um, so I see a lot of drivers that get out there and they stop at every truck stop they come across. They go in, and they'll talk and they'll bullshit for 15 minutes with some other driver, and they're not making progress. Or they'll stop and they'll have lunch like every day at a the still language off the old Bandit movie. They'll stop at a Choke and Puke every day and um, have lunch. No, I usually carry at the very minimum if I've got a way to keep it cold. I carry ham, cheese, stuff like that in the truck, and I'll fix a ham and cheese sandwich on my 30-minute break because we're forced to take the goddamn thing, so we have to take it. Um, but I'm not going to stop at a truck stop and kill an hour to have lunch just because I want to kill an hour to have lunch. Although um, although it probably wouldn't hurt some of us, me mainly, to find an hour a day and walk. I'll admit that I probably do need to walk more. I need to exercise more. But um, there's just drivers out there that don't understand the concept of keeping keeping the left door shut. You make money when you keep that left door shut. You know, that's just the truth of it. But the thing about trucking is, when you get into it, a lot of times I feel like they lie to these people to get them in the truck and like, oh, come on, it's like a paid vacation. Get paid to see the country, get paid to travel. Okay, you get to travel. Most of the time, you don't really get to see what you want to see unless you're at the stage in your career where you can just afford to take 2 or 3 hours to go park and rent a car and go see the Grand Canyon or whatever, because you don't really get to see a lot. So it's not like a paid vacation. Some guys enjoy the shit out of it. And when I first started driving, I enjoyed it a good bit until you know I missed a lot. I've got a 20-year-old daughter now, and I've missed half her life, and she hates me for it almost. I feel like sometimes. Hey, Mike, I'm doing I'm doing good. I'm doing a little better. I've um, I've got orientation Wednesday on I think it's the 18th. So I'll leave Tuesday night, head up there, and I'll be in orientation. I think 2 days. They said I should be in a truck by Friday. Um, it's I'm just glad to finally having someone that's going to give me the opportunity because I've been out of work for a month. I've been out of work, out of a truck for a month, and it fucking sucks. Um, but I'm doing better, trying to keep my head up, trying to keep a positive outlook. And I thank you for asking. Hope everything's going all right with you, Mike. Yeah, I've always wanted to ride a tail of a dragon, but uh, I just I don't think I could do it in a group because I don't ride in groups with people I'm not familiar with. And it makes all the difference in the world as someone who's rode with a club, not a member, but rode with a club because I'm friends with people in a club. It's one thing when you know how those people ride and you can go, pardon the expression, when you can go balls out down the interstate at 110 mile an hour and you trust the guys with because you know how they ride. And then you go get on tail of a dragon, which is it's a very slow road as it is, and then you're with people that don't know what they're doing, even though it's slow. It takes skill to do those tight bends. And so it's crazy. And then, like you said, the crotch rockets, they think they can just as fast as they want. In cars, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about you on a damn bike. You're just in their way. Unless it's a fellow biker that's in his car, he doesn't give a shit about who's on the damn bike. Um, that's just that's the truth of it. I mean, um, I've ridden crotch rockets before, and they're fun for speed. If you just want to go balls out wide open, that's where it's at. Um, but I prefer a cruiser, you know. But yeah, it's crazy out there. I've never been on the tail of the dragon. I've always wanted to, and maybe one day I will. But it will be me and myself, and I will keep my distance from all the other idiots out there. That is for sure. Um, and in situations like that, don't take it offensive, but in situations like that, when I'm trying to ride, anyone that's not me on my bike with me is an idiot. You know, same thing as truck driving. You know how us truck drivers are. Anybody that's in a four wheeler is an idiot because they don't know how to drive, because they don't understand that we don't stop like they do. I think that's the craziest thing out there is people just um, they don't care. Car drivers are like, oh, if he hits me, I can sue him. That's all it's became now. The laws have made it in such a way that now everything's the trucker's fault. So if the car driver causes an accident, they can sue. They can get money. You know, it's stupidity. But you know. But yeah, it's so I assume you're still there, Thomas. Do you record? I think you said you had one video of it. I guess now I'm curious. Now I want to check out your channel. So if you've got a channel, I'll definitely check it out. Um, you know, I don't find a lot of time to watch channels no more. Yeah. I've never been to a motorcycle campgrounds. I mean, there's not any around here that I'm aware of. Um, but yeah, I'll check out your channel and see what kind of videos and all you do. I mean, I appreciate you taking the time to chime in, talk, interact. Um, I get it. Some people just like to watch, and that's fine. You know, I, when I can, I like to interact myself because it's just it's better in my opinion when you have something to respond to. Because I can sit here and talk till I'm blue in the face about jack shit, nothing. But I mean, how do I know what people want to know unless someone speaks up? But Wolf Pen Gap, I guess that's up there in Kentucky. Um, yeah. Well, I appreciate the help. I mean, I'm like I said earlier in this whole live thing. Um, I'm still trying to figure it out all out. When I had my bike, I was doing bike content. I was doing reviews on different things. Or I'd ride around, talk, ramble, whatever. And if people didn't want to hear me ramble, they could just mute and just enjoy the ride along, I guess. Um, Now that I don't have a bike, I'm kind of struggling to find my feet. Um, I'm just kind of struggling to find my feet on what this channel is going to be now. Um, I'm sorry, I was looking at a Facebook notification that popped up. So I'm struggling to, figure out, I can do trucking content and kind of, show people what it's like to kind of be out there on the road like we do. But there's a lot of channels that do that already. So I'm not really sure I'm really going to stand out anyway. But I do want to continue trying to make content, and maybe once money gets better again, do stuff with the old Mustang. I've got to rip the dash out of it to get the damn heater core changed, and I'm not really looking forward to doing that shit at all either. Um, and I've got the laser engraving videos that I do, so it may not be a one-stop shop for my videos. It may not be just one thing. It may be videos may be about this, videos may be about that. You know, just trying to find my feet, and maybe there is no one thing I can do. Maybe I just do different things, and depending on what I like, depending on what I want to do. There's people that walk around with a camera all the time and record everything they do, and I'm just not comfortable doing that. I'm not comfortable walking around with a GoPro on a selfie stick and people looking at me like I'm stupid. You know, or maybe I shouldn't be so self-conscious. Maybe I should just do it and be done with it. Yeah, Georgia. Yeah, that's right next door. I'm about an hour and a half from Georgia. You know, and where I'm at, I'm about an hour from Florida. So I'm way down here. So you're one of my viewers. I wonder who the other person is, because at one moment I was up to 4, and now I'm back down to 2. Yeah, that's fine. It's not a popularity contest for me. Like I said, a lot of this is just me being able to talk and vent, and I wanted to do something where I'm outside with a fire and all that, but I don't have a lot of wood right now to burn the fire pit, and I'm not real sure how to set that up. You know, so maybe that's something for the future if there is any more future lives after this. Um, yeah, the dragons. I don't think the dragon is like the top thing to do. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a nice ride, but it's became so popular. And this is the biggest complaint I hear from other bikers is it's so over popular. There's too much traffic on it now. It's not like you can just go up for the weekend and just be you and five of your good friends that you ride with all the time. No, it's going to be you and every other idiot that weekend that just wants to check it off the list. Some of the best rides are the uncharted ones. Sometimes it's not about just going to ride the best road. Sometimes it's about getting you and a couple of your friends, and you head out and you just make a trip, and you enjoy everything that comes along with it. I'll get another bike one day. I'll get another bike one day. You know, although if there's anyone out there that is a billionaire and you want to get rid of about $20,000, send it my way. I'm joking. I mean, I don't want anyone to buy me a bike, but seriously, I'll get one day. I want to get another Indian. Uh, the back of the dragon. I don't guess I've heard about that one. Hmm. You know, I think if I get another bike, when things work out, if I can get another bike, I want to get an. I don't want to get a full dresser like the Chieftain was. Like I said, she doesn't ride that much. I think I'd get something like a Indian Springfield Dark Horse, something like that. Um, I like that bike. I like the way they look. You know, but again, there's a lot of bikes I like. Honestly, most of the time, if it's got two wheels and the engine, I like it. There's not a lot of bikes I don't like. You know, I even found myself looking at the BMW. Was it the R18? I even found myself looking at it one day. You know, I just there's not a lot of bikes that I would consider to be just not worth having. Cause honestly, hell, if I didn't look like a monkey fucking a football, I'd have a Sportster. You know, oh yeah. A lot of people are like, well, it's not really an Indian. Polaris makes it. Or, oh, it's just a victory with an Indian badge. No, it's not. Because the victory engine was completely different. Polaris spent time to make and design an engine specifically for the Indian models. Because the victories were overhead cams, liquid cooled. The Indians are, not overhead cams. They got push rods until you get into the new the Power Plus engines and all that. But yeah, the Chieftains, the Roadmasters, and all that, those are proprietary engines designed by Polaris for Indian. And honestly, they're damn good engines, and they sound real nice and they run real nice. Um, and I don't argue with people about Indian or Harley, one being better than the other. I think they're both great bikes. And I think the fact that you have two American manufacturers that are still giving each other competition again is great, because competition fuels innovation. Um, it fuels invention. It pushes the envelope. Causes competition causes innovation. It causes things to progress. It causes new ideas to be come up with. So I think it's definitely worth having multiple brands. Oh, I mean, yeah, it's no secret that Hondas, Kawasaki's, Yamahas, they all have the ability and the durability of anything. I mean, my thing is, when I got my Indian, and the Indian is just as durable as anything too, in my opinion. I got my Indian because of everything it offered. It had the built-in navigation. It had all the bells and whistles. And for what I paid for it, I wanted that. People are like, "Oh, you could have went and bought a brand new Indian, not an Indian. You could have went and bought a brand new Kawasaki Voyager for half that." Yes, but it didn't have the navigation. It didn't have um, Bluetooth. It didn't even have USB. It had an AM/FM radio and the connectability for a CB. Who'd have uses a CB this day and time? Um, and I mean, the Voyager's a nice looking bike. The Indian Voyager's a nice looking bike. They just don't have the technology. They're still using 2022 tech. I mean, 2002, 2002 technology, and it's 2023 now. They still don't have Bluetooth on that bike. They don't have LED headlights on that bike. They don't have LED anything on that bike. And in my opinion, yes, it's an more affordable bike, but there's just not a lot there. Hey, I have a CB. I keep a CB in my truck. I have, Hmm. Yeah, most truck drivers don't even use CBs no more. I wish more people would use CBs. It comes in handy. It's a useful tool, and but I don't see the purpose for it on a bike. And when you have a bike that you're paying, um, what's the Voyager starting point now? I think a brand new Voyager is about 17. You're paying 17,000 for a bike. You expect it to have more amenities than just an AM/FM radio. Um, Last I checked, don't even have Bluetooth. Um, but they're nice looking bikes. Don't get me wrong; they're nice looking bikes and all that. But the other reason I want Indian or even a Harley, when I've had both, is that there's a lot of room for customization. There's a lot of room for aftermarket parts, more so with a Harley than an Indian. But people are starting to make aftermarket parts for Indian as well, and some people even make aftermarket parts for the more popular Hondas and stuff. But it's not as vast as a Harley or even Indian right now. Um, yeah, that probably was a very good buy then, because you know the thing is, when I bought my Indian Chieftain, it was a 2017 or 2016. I honestly forget the year model now. I think it was a 16, but it had the rider command, navigation, USB, Bluetooth. It had all that. And the bike, I bought it in 2001. Either way, the bike was like 4.5 years old when I bought it. And the previous owner bought it brand new and only put 1,200 miles on it. And then ended up selling it back to the dealership because he broke his leg, couldn't ride no more. So I come along and I bought it, and I got a damn good deal on that bike, in my opinion. And when I sold it, I only took, it was a 17 then. And when I sold it, I only took $1,000 loss on it. And when I sold it, it had, it went from having it had 1,200 on it when I bought it, and it had almost 20,000 on it when I sold it. So I put miles on it. I rode it. I enjoyed the shit out of it. And like I said, I sold it because I needed to get the down payment for a house, because the house we were renting was being sold. We didn't want to buy that one because of where it was. So I had to get up the down payment quick. So the bike was the one thing I had that was worth anything. And had I had time to sit on it, I could have sold it for more, but I just didn't have time to sit on it. So I sold it to a third party called Rumble On, and they gave me, I think they gave me 15,000 for it, something like that. So I got a good deal, but most of that went toward buying the house. Some of it went toward paying off some credit cards. It wasn't something I wanted to do, but I always believe in doing what you have to do what you have to do. And sometimes what you have to do and what you want to do is two different things. But it was a damn good bike. It already had the Indian exhaust on it. I ended up putting heated grips on it. The power windshield, I loved the shit out of that damn power windshield. That was a nice feature to have. And when things get a little better, I'm gonna get me another one. And probably nothing as major. Like I said, probably get a Springfield, because I really do like the Springfield dark horses. Blacked out, 116 cubic inch. Yeah, and I may not get an Indian anytime soon. I may have to settle and put my fat ass on a used Sportster or something. I don't care. I look like a monkey fucking a football on a Sportster, but hey, it works. um, you know. But I've always liked Kawasaki's. Personally, I've ridden Hondas. I've always had a preference for Kawasaki's. Just I like them. I like the Vulcans. And who knows what life may bring? I may get another bike. It may only be a Vulcan. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't shame anyone for what they ride. If you riding and you riding something, I don't care if it ain't nothing but a moped. If you enjoy it, that's all that matters. If you want to ride a damn scooter and you enjoy it, that's all that matters. Now, Suzuki used to make a badass damn scooter. What was it? The Suzuki Bergman. It was like the 650 Bergman, the Suzuki Bergman 650. That was a badass damn scooter for what it was. That fucker would run 120 mile an hour, and that was a badass damn scooter. I don't care how you want to slice it. And they don't even make it no more. It just didn't do what they wanted it to do. Oh, yeah, I agree. Most bikes are pretty good nowadays. But I'm just saying, each to their own preference. I mean, I've seen all sizes and all shapes on all types. You know, if I had one of those in real life sitting in my garage or driveway, I'd be out riding it. I don't care if it didn't do but 35 mile an hour top end. You know, just get a little off subject. I'd tell you, one garage I wouldn't mind seeing in real life, and that would be Jay Leno's garage. I would love to see his garage in real life, and just I'd love to pick his brain because he just seems so down to earth. I bet you'd be cool to sit there and talk to him, and he probably would sit there and talk to you all day about everything he's got in his garage. You know. There's just shit that I want to do, and I hope I get to do one day. One of them is not jumping out of a plane, though. I have no intention on ever jumping out of a plane. Nope. Nope. Yeah. I don't want to ride with people that show out and act like a damn idiot. And there are people out there, and it comes from all ages and all levels of experience. I mean, so I'm not even going to try to single anyone out, but you do get those people that are like, "Hey, I can ride better than you. Look at what I do," and then they take chances that you shouldn't take. They put everyone in the group at risk, and those are just the people that you just like, "No, man, I don't want to ride with you no more." A lot of times the group gets together and like, "Yeah, you can't ride with us. You got to go find somewhere else to ride." I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. ADD and all, it happens. How you like that? I'm so bored, I bore myself. I can't even keep my own attention. But, yeah, I was trying to show off some of my cups earlier because like I said, I do my little laser engraving, and it's more of a hobby than anything, but that's like I make stuff like that. Or this one. Made that one. That one's got water in it. That's mine. But I'm tired. Maybe about to get off here and go get something to eat. So for a few people that did chime in, and Thomas, thank you for keeping me company and talking with me. For those of you that have just sat there and watched and enjoyed, pop in and out, and a few that are still there, I appreciate it. It's still better results than I thought. I honestly didn't think anybody would chime in and watch, and that's fine too. You're fine, Thomas. I ain't gonna call you. I understand you was trying to say something else. I may not be a smart man, but I do understand that. One of my favorite movies is Forrest Gump, by the way. Mama always said life is like a box of chocolates. Yeah. Greenbow, Alabama. Don't even exist. Greenbow, Alabama does not even exist at all. It was filmed in the town of Biola Battery, which is a real town. It was mentioned, but yeah, that's kind of the area for which they filmed down there around the southern area, down there near Mobile. Biola Battery. Oh. Well, I've run out of about stuff to talk about, and Thomas is probably tired of keeping me company here, but I do appreciate him. Mike chimed in and asked, I appreciate you checking on me and asking how I'm doing. I'm doing well. Hope everyone else is doing well. And hopefully once I get in my truck and all, I'll do a little bit more, and I'll just start posting videos about once a week or something like that. And don't know if I'm going to do a lot of lives, but I will try to do more moving on. Who knows? Maybe do a live about once a month, just check in. Hopefully I get more subscribers and can move up in the big world of YouTube and be famous. Not really. I don't think I want the fame. This is more of a just seeing what's it about. I mean, let's face it, if I was going to blow up, I would have done blow it up by now. But I appreciate it. Thank everybody. Thank you, Thomas. I will check out your channel, by the way. And y'all take it easy. God bless. Stay safe, and like, subscribe. Appreciate y'all. Bye.